Welcome to another episode of the Engaging Virtual Meetings podcast. If you're watching this live on social media, make sure and subscribe, share, like, or comment. You can subscribe to any episode of Engaging Virtual Meetings at engagingvirtualmeetings.online. We have episodes coming out every Wednesday. We have content actually already set into 2025. And if you want to join us, come join us. The Engaging Conference this year, 3 Hall of Fame speakers. And for the first time ever, we are hybrid. To get a free ticket for day one, go to engagingvirtualmeetings.com/con, C-O-N for conference, and make sure and check out our VIP tickets, and you can actually attend in person for the first time and see how we make our hybrids more engaging. Now, today, I'm excited to have this guest here. He's with a company called Motivational Media. For the last 20 years, he's been helping others tell their stories through digital media. I just love it because we're going to geek out on some tech and some video type things. And also, if you are a speaker, listen up. If you are working on or want to improve your speaker reel, make sure and listen to this because he's also a singer, songwriter, guitarist, and drummer. I think I might actually say I can do all of those too.
Cool.
And he's dad to an amazing little daughter, Holly. Let's welcome the one and only NSA famous Matt Bauer.
Never had theme music before, John. Thank you.
You get an intro like that every day. Don't you wake up in the morning and like, here to get his coffee, it's Matt Bauer. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Hey, Matt, how you doing today?
Hey, pretty good, John. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk shop, as they say, video wise and speaker wise, and yeah, I just love the community, and I'm here for it.
And I think you love what you do. 20 plus years, and it's so great. The more I hang around the NSA or National Speakers Association, is that speakers love video. They just love it, right? They want more and more of it. They're willing to pay for it. They want the best video. So it's so great to see a unique format like that. All right. Well, anyways, Matt, for my friends who don't know you, why don't you take a moment here, Matt, and just introduce yourself, who you are, and what you do.
Sure. Well, as John said, I'm Matt Bauer. I am a videographer and video editor, among other things. As previously mentioned, musician. I used to play music on cruise ships for a few years, and that was a fun story in itself. But after that, and for the past almost 10 years, I've been working with speakers exclusively, with it all needs video. So I'll travel all around the country to film a conference or keynotes or breakouts, workshops, anything to get you out there and get you seen and booked, more importantly, and booked at higher fees. So that's my whole goal, and I'm dedicated to the speaking industry. Like I said, almost the last 10 years, and I've been very, very grateful to this community, and as a performer myself, like I get it on both sides of the camera, and so it's very cool to be accepted. and
You really like me. I don't you
I
like this?
do. I really do. So
Okay.
so yeah, it's very cool, and to go and capture, people sharing their message. And so my one of the things I do when I go out and film is sit down interviews. And so because I think
Oh, right.
that's a fantastic way to secure the know, like, and trust trifecta, is when people see you as your authentic self, answering organic questions with organic answers, and just being human and kind of breaking down that wall between, stage presenter and audience member. So that's kind of what I live and breathe through my work.
So let's go backwards a little bit too and talk about your music. So mine was I played in punk rock bands, Matt.
Oh, I think.
And well, because I grew up a skateboarder too. I was a
Yeah.
sponsored amateur skateboarder. Grew up in doing some punk rock. And the cool part is my dad actually has a studio in Stockton called Studio C. So I actually went I started guitar. I did learn to play drum and bass. Now I sing because I actually run a karaoke group, and I actually became the producer or the recording engineer, a Tascam 4 track.
Oh,
I
Oh,
used to.
reliable. Sure.
Yeah. Oh my, they were so amazing at the
Yeah.
time. Like the fact
Yeah.
that you could record something over it and be two or more people was really one of the
Hmm.
top things around it. And so that's kind of like my production beginnings was in that. What was yours, Matt? What kind of music or did you play or what did you do?
Oh my gosh. Well, as far as music performance, I would say, dating back to my choir days in elementary school and, getting selected for the all-star sing and all the things. And I'm like, oh wow, maybe we have something here. And over time, yeah, I mean I started playing guitar when uh, I don't know. There's a guitarists might know this. There's a I started playing guitar and then I started seriously playing guitar when,
Oh yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah. I know what you mean.
so for the last, I don't know, 20 years or so I've been seriously playing guitar, but drums probably for the last 10. I don't have a crazy, Tascam story, but I remember recording off the radio. I'm 42 as of yesterday, and so I remember I don't remember 8-track days. It wasn't around then, but cassettes to CDs to MP3s. Like I was admittedly one of the original Napster supporter guys, and just, oh, give me all the music. Oh no, I know. Prosecute me 20 years later, whatever it is, but that's fine. But yeah, as far as like recording gear, yeah, I mean, I at the time, I think I just had maybe a webcam or something like that you can use like QuickTime to whatever it is. Like that's the software equivalent to like having an four track Tascam recorder. But yeah, over time I've upgraded and downsized as far as recording others. So when I film speakers, I've got like this little tiny microphone that's better than anything I would have had 20 years ago, and for 5 times its size and price probably.
I just wrote a trivia question about the first webcam, and that was kind of like it was, well, and some of mine in the team building arena was that we set up two computers with two webcams, those old, circular ones or whatever they were on the
Yeah.
top, and they, we did interviews, right? And so the experiment was actually with the Association of Experiential Education, and the whole assignment is you go into two separate rooms and you have a video call with each other. It was on a private network, right? Not
Mhm.
even on a public network.
Right.
And that you needed to, someone would share a story about themselves for 5 minutes, and then the other person would do the same. And we marked a level of trust. And we were actually in like, this is like year 1999, 2000, I think. And we were able to
Okay.
show the trust went up on average 20% in just a short 10-minute virtual meeting. And that kind of gave us hope that, you can build trust over virtual.
Hmm. You
And then, of course,
absolutely can. It's just, I mean, it's just like what I was saying with the interviews. Like it's people can get a sense like when all of the smoke and mirrors are removed, from stage, not to say everybody's got smoke and mirrors or that they're bad. It's just there's a presentational style that's expected when you're, the conference or at, doing a keynote or whatever. But when this is, kind of I don't want to say the gloves are off like in a negative way or violent way, but like just like what you see is what you get. And I think
yes.
that's the catalyst for trust and know and like kind of follow suit.
It's the piece of authenticity that says it should say something like, "I'm similar or very much the same on and off stage."
Yep. Yep. Exactly. What you see is what you get. There's no like personality smoke and mirrors. You know what I mean? There's you can have all the stage pyrotechnics and things, and so you can have the same, things when you're just one to one, but it's like who's the real you. I want to know you to connect. Like that's the only way that you can connect is when you don't have your guard up, and what causes your guard to go down is authenticity.
Okay, so I'm currently president for the NSA Northwest chapter, right?
Yeah.
And almost every new speaker asks, right, what should I put in my speaker reel? And I'm just curious, what would Matt Bauer say if you got a new client, right? I'm like Joe Blow, new speaker, and what are some of the key things that you think has to go into a speaker reel?
Well, and it kind of depends on what you've got too.
Yeah.
Now the wish list is it depends on who you ask, but if you're submitting a reel to a speaker bureau, or you're submitting a reel to, someone at a company who's responsible for booking the events,
Yeah.
who doesn't maybe see, reels all the time,
Mm.
there's two varying sets of ingredients, I think. But for the most part, big stage, as big a stage as you can get on. In the first 30 seconds, anybody who's watching your reel is looking to check some boxes, whether they know it or not. Have they been invited to at least three things where they've been entrusted with a microphone in front of hundreds or thousands of people, right? Like, can I trust you not to offend my people, right? And so,
True.
and right,
It's
and
true.
it's because
Yeah.
we've all heard horror stories about, like, why was this person booked? Why? Never again, right? And
Right.
so there's some content, but not necessarily like the quick, 1 second soundbite, 2 second sound bites or whatever, where it's just quick, quick, quick. What I'm hearing is that there is a need for more experiential sort of presentation, as far as like maybe allow that speaker to take the extra beat and the extra pause for effect and kind of feel that effect. And if you can fit that in a sizzle reel that is supposed to be kind of, 3.5 minutes or under, you've got to pack a lot into that. But that's, peppering in some experiential stuff like that is great. Obviously, sound quality, I think, in a lot of cases is more important than video quality, because you can that's hitting home with you. uh
Yeah.
because well, somebody like me, like a video editor, I can use the audio and then have different b-roll over it, or different images or whatever, but that content is still able to come through. Whereas if you have perfect like 4K video, which I shoot 4K video and get pristine audio just for these reasons, so we never have these problems.
Right.
But if you have like pristine video and really awful audio, the most you can use that for is B-roll
That's right.
for like 3 seconds, and so you might have this 45 minute to an hour thing, and if the audio is not great, ooh. And there are things that can be done to restore it to a certain degree, but obviously it's way better to record it right in the first place. So, just kind of rounding out this answer, like, big stages, um audience reactions are
Mm,
are
mm.
huge, huge, because that's what a meeting professional, or anybody really willing to book you or wanting to book you, is going to want to see, is like, how is this being received? How what's the audience experience? Because that's what we're paying you for. That's what we're booking you for, is so the audience has a particular experience, and
Yeah.
we want to ensure that that experience is where we're aiming. And so those are the basics, really. If you have cell phone footage from the back of the room, nah, I don't know how usable that's going to be. But if you have some professionally recorded stuff, like I said, it's about 3 to 3.5 minutes long, on average, the sizzle reel. So, to complement that stuff with an complement, testimonials, like written testimonials, if you have those, if you don't have video testimonials from audience members, you know I would say, organizations that have trusted you,
Yeah.
you can like, if you've spoken for Microsoft, please make that known. Like, that's great. Like, if you were on talks at Google or whatever, TED Talks, all the, like, yeah, put it out there, and make it known, trusted by Google, trusted by micro, like, those kinds of things are looked at by meeting professionals too, because you may not be able to tell who you were speaking for. Well, talks at Google's a little different. That's branded everywhere, but you may not be able to tell. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And that's a perfect illustration of what I'm talking. That's exactly right. So some sort of screen like that would be great, and a reel, even something scrolling along the bottom if you've got other content going.
Mhm.
Just to pack all of that in there is a bit of a task. Obviously, you have professionals like me who can help you with that. But even if you're wanting to like DIY, like, that's the checklist really to put in there. And the last thing I'll say is music. I'm a we talked about it. I'm a musician. I
Yeah.
have a let's see. It takes me a lot longer than probably most people to find the perfect track for a reel, because it's gotta, and I go as far as to go, okay, what's the even the cadence of the person's voice and the way that they're speaking? Does that match up with
Ooh.
the tempo of the song? Because subconsciously
Yeah.
there may be a dissonance there, and you can't quite put your finger on it, and you're like, I'm not real fond of that video. The speaker could be great, but I don't have a great feeling because the music pace was incongruent with the
Yeah.
speaking pace. And
Right.
so, yeah, so I'll go as far, down to science, to get the right sound. Because that's half the battle of the know, like, and trust, and the feel, is how do you feel? I want somebody, after they watch a sizzle reel that I create, to pick up the phone or to click a link or to just engage. Right. And if they're having this good feeling, like, oh man, that was such, ooh, I can't put my finger on it, but that just felt so good. I want more of that. That's my whole, goal as far as the reels in general, but the effect of music on it.
Well, why don't you help us out? Again, let's say, our new speakers, like, without naming a speaker's name or the organization, like, what's the greatest follow-up story you've ever heard from somebody who, you make a reel for them, and maybe occasionally you get the story. I know a lot of times too, as professionals, we never get this story. We're like, we don't want to hear it. But occasionally, one of your professionals is going to come and let you know, like, hey, I put my video up and like a whale, right? A whale called me. So I'm just
Mhm.
curious if you have any story like that to share with us.
100%. And without naming names, yes, it was even a fairly recent, it's probably last year. I worked with a speaker who, well, without naming names, but I will tell you her kind of platform. Like, she is on roller skates uh, the whole time, like, does the whole keynote on roller skates, and it's about her learning how to skate, and like that, you can do anything
Yes.
sort of mindset, and like, you know what? I I'm 40 something years old, whatever. I've not skated before. Let's do it. And it's just like proves the point that she's then sharing,
Hmm.
that message. And within, I don't know the time frame, but within a short while after I had finished that reel and she had sent it out, she had like three calls from people like, where have you been all my life? Sort of thing. Like, this is fantastic. And she had no idea. Like, that speaker was blown away. She's like, I mean, there's a bit of imposter syndrome there. We all have that. But at the same time, I was able to, thankfully, like, and I'm so grateful that I was trusted to do this, to show not only the folks that might book that speaker, how awesome she is, but to show her how awesome she is. And so it's not only just a win as far as like getting booked or getting that recognition, but just like filling her cup internally, like, hey, I can do this. And it started from just an idea of, let me put on some skates and see how it goes. Now she's fantastic, and she's sharing, yeah. So anyway, that's one of the success stories that I just really, really appreciate being lucky enough to be a part of.
That's cool. Thank you so much for that, Matt. I know that I do get to shoot some videos sometimes too, and I like to tell people that sometimes the shoot is more fun than the end product. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It really is. And for me, I love capturing candid moments and just audience reactions. Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
set up five cameras whenever I
Yeah.
shoot.
Yeah.
Five. And
Yeah.
so I got an ultra wide, I got a left, a right, a center, and then I'm shooting the audience reactions, the laughing, the smiling, the learning, the writing stuff down, just the engagement. And it's just, especially it's kind of funny because a couple of years ago, I used to shoot audience footage with kind of a closer lens, or like a not a zoom lens. So I was like up in their grill. I was kind of like very much seen, whereas now I kind of stand in the corner of the room and just kind of sniper that stuff, like kind of like just okay, they have no idea I'm seeing them in their element and but
Right.
when you get close to them, there's I first of all, and I'm glad this is a video podcast. I get this like, oh, they're looking and they're like, I can't use that. Like I can't use when you're just
Oh, because they see you. You're
yeah,
saying
they
like
see
that.
me. They're like, "Are we
Yeah.
done yet? Are we over? Okay, he's still there. He's still there. Okay, great." Like, and that takes away from them being able to take in
Yeah.
the
The speaker.
content
Yeah, 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 yeah,
and
yeah,
stay engaged.
yeah.
And so that was distracting. It's just funny. I have tons of footage of people just, "What, are we done yet?" And I'm like, I can only use the part where you're looking on stage, but I totally get it because like this isn't about me. This is about the speaker. But
Uh,
yeah, getting that candid stuff is just it fills my cup because it's pure joy and it's no smoke, no mirrors, even from a hi, I'm enjoying this sort of thing. Like you can tell on their faces, like they're actually enjoying it. And just capturing a message really a speaker's perspective, I think is invaluable. This is a lot of folks go, sorry, I'm a little long-winded on this one.
that's
Uh, some folks go, all right, well, the speaker showed up for an hour and they talked, and I gave them how much? And sure, yep, just like the football players show up and play for an hour and they get paid how much? Now, it's debatable, on if that's too much or whatever, but there is a lot of work that goes into the before and a lot of unpaid work, a lot of unpaid practice, a lot of
yeah.
like that goes into it. And so my whole point is to be able to capture that in such a high quality way, I think just adds merit and kind of a bit of um a bit of a shrine or a bit of an encapsulation of the hard work, basically. And so just so people, even if they never send something out, like they'll at least have that for just, hey, look what I have created. If I had not started down this path, years ago, or had not woken up one day and go, I need to share this message. And unfortunately, it's an industry that you have to have credit to get credit, right? You get, oh, I'd love to hire you. What have you done? Well, nothing. You'd be my first. Okay, I can't hire you because I don't. Well, okay, how do I, and so I'm also kind of like we were talking about, John and I were talking about, maybe doing a speaker showcase or something like that to give people kind of a leg up and get some video so they can get booked for big stages, and then it just kind of snowballs from there. But back to, to my original point of like how much work has gone into,
Yes.
and leading up to that hour, like it's just it's an encapsulation of all of that, that can be reviewed. You can also squeeze a lot from that orange. You can have individual YouTube videos, LinkedIn videos, transcribe it, put it, you can squeeze a lot. And so I just love being part of that value for folks.
So what I've told people, like in team building, it started in team building, but speaking is exactly the same way, which is that no one knows what it takes to make the perfect hour.
Right.
It's literally the perfect hour when you get the right keynote. And if you look, I mean, there's only limited time in a conference, so that again, it's like alcohol, right? It's like a distillation, right? So that hour really needs to be a distillation, and it can be a bummer,
Mhm. Yep.
or it could be the highlight. It's going to be the one thing that people remember from this conference because they go to 20 sessions or more sometimes, and so to stand out in that, why should I come back next year?
Yeah.
You got to have that one moment somewhere during that time that someone has. And I just want to give a shout out to my good friend Jiki Ferrer is watching in Hawaii. Aloha to Jiki, and
Oh.
he's chatting a few questions. I'll see if I have one for you. I want
Yeah.
to add one other piece, Matt, too, which is I am such a advocate and fan of the audience camera. And number one in hybrid, there's like, especially as the pandemic started to break, is that the virtual audience wants to know what the in-person audience looks like, just
Yeah.
out of curiosity, right? But in that second part, it comes around there, and then, so this is what I've discovered over the last year too, Matt, is cross shooting. So I put two cameras left and right.
Yeah.
Instead of, I thought I would shoot straight out in the audience, but over time, what I found that was better was cross shooting. Because what
Mhm.
happens is you get that shoulder of the
Yep.
speaker and the face of the audience, and some of those shots are so good.
Yep. And all you need, like you said, like all you need is one, I would call it a money shot. It's just like that shot where you're behind the speaker and they're a silhouette because the lights are just
Yes.
outlining them and it just looks epic like that's gold right there. And so yeah, like to capture, the over the speaker and the audience at the same time, that's awesome. That's noticeable. Noticeably awesome.
I'll give a shout out to Alan Berg too, because Alan Berg on his website design just said this, and he has this gigantic shot of him like that, which is over the shoulder, and then you see the whole audience, you see their face, and he
Yeah,
goes, "It's not about me, the bald-headed guy who's 5'2", right?" He goes,
right.
"It's about the audience when you hire me. I'm going to take
Yeah.
care of your audience, right? I'm going to make sure that they get the value," and so that's where I think some of these things happen in
Oh
this
yeah.
shot.
Oh,
So.
that's great. And that comes back to that feeling that oh, okay, I'm getting a little window into this. It's just experiential. Like that's just a cool feeling to be a part of that. And like to your point with, you've got 20 other sessions maybe that day or something that you're going to,
Yeah.
you've got to have that standout moment or moments, even, to put your QR code and contact information at the end and have people raise their phone and want it like that you've got to have something a little bit special there. And so yeah, it's no pressure, by the way, anyone who's but yeah, if you can do that with an audience, like they will be on your newsletter, they will come back to see you. I've had several video testimonials from audience members that go, you know what, this speaker is awesome, I come to see her every time she's here, and every time it's different, it's engaging, it's all that stuff. And that's like the perfect testimonial for a speaker, because it shows that they've been invited back, first of all,
Oh, that's cool
uh,
too. Yeah, you're
to
right.
something. And so and also that there are devout fans, like there are evangelists for this person, which means like they're the real deal.
Matt, I get a chance to do some virtual MC for hybrids, and I got paid the highest compliment once, which was, "If John's not the virtual MC, I won't register."
Oh yeah.
I was on social
Ooh.
media. They put it on Facebook in their group, and I did not pay for that. I was like, that was amazing. That made my
Oh
heart.
my gosh, yes, get an army of those people and then basically give an ultimatum to anybody you want to work with. It's like
All
you're
right,
gonna
well,
have no
let's.
attendees unless I'm there.
Yeah, no
So
virtual at least. You
yeah,
have
yeah,
to
yeah,
be
exactly.
live and stuff. Yeah, they have like 650 or 700 virtual attendees. It's
Wow.
really, really, really amazing.
What a compliment, John. That's awesome.
Thank
So
you,
great.
Matt.
Yeah.
So, talk to me about your pandemic journey, right? March 2020 happens. What happens to Matt Bauer during that time?
Oh, could I get into it? Well, I mean, having been exclusively working with speakers, for like I said, like 10 years, uh when all of the events got canceled, all of my events got canceled. And
Right.
so I pivoted. I know we missed that word so much.
Yay!
I
Wait,
hashtag
wait, wait, wait a second. Wait, wait, wait. Ready? Bingo!
so I hashtag pivoted to virtual reels, which is basically, I mean, I remember doing one for like Marilyn Sherman and
Mm,
Mary Kelly and all these folks who were
mm,
like not waiting, basically not
got it.
waiting it out. And it's a good thing they didn't wait it out because it lasted quite a long time. And so and for some folks it's still a thing. But that basically turned my business on its head, because yeah, couldn't do any physical events,
Yeah.
so I couldn't go film anything.
Mm,
I had to like I said, I'm a big fan of interviews. And so, okay, a little to the left, like if they had their own like camera or whatever, I'm like, okay, set this over here. What does that look like? And, just kind of having to talk everything out versus like doing it myself and just kind of giving instructions on, okay, if we're going to film an interview, okay, put me here on the iPad, on this chair. So you can talk to me and then put your camera over here. Can you have someone else adjust the focus? Can you you do it? I mean, the bottom line is, John, you do what you have to, you know,
Right.
you
Right.
like you just do what you have to. And so that's kind of how it changed a little bit. And I was doing some sizzle reels, but redoing some sizzle reels to throw in virtual stuff
Yes.
because it's like, well, that's all we can hire for right now is virtual stuff. And
So
it
Kelly.
can't necessarily be assumed that the stage product uh, transfers completely or fully or as show-stopperingly.
It's a real word, by the way.
Yeah, well, it is now. I just made it one. For for virtual, and so I think that was one of the things that I'd realized too is that you got folks who are like the Tony Robbins of the world, you
Yeah.
know, Tony Robbins, Mel Robbins. I love all the Robinses, right? Um, and and you have the I just got out of the speaker academy. I'm pretty wet behind the ears. Everybody's got the same platform now. Like
Mhm.
everybody's got the same rectangle. It's
Mhm.
like,
Oh,
what am I
well,
going to fill that rectangle with content wise? Because I can have all these things. And this was before, I mean, I had heard of Zoom, obviously, but the world really wasn't really Zooming until after the pandemic. And I'm sure Zoom is like, yeah, thanks. Thanks for that. But when you have, and thanks for showing my website there. Yeah, all of these things that I couldn't film in person. Like, oh, what am I going to do? And so everybody's got that same platform, and so it really comes down to your content. You can have, I know I use the word smoke and mirrors a lot, but smoke and mirrors on stage or whatever, but you don't get that here. Like, all those apps too that are like what you're using now. Either like OBS studio, something like that, or camp
Cam.
yeah, Ecamm, something like that. Those things didn't get super popular until like they had to. Like, oh, there's a market here, and a broad one because people like to have, like you've got your CSP over there, you've got your book over there, you can, make it interactive and engaging. Exactly. And so, but before that, you just had your voice and you just had your screen and your webcam and you just got to hustle. And it really breaks down who's got the content, the engaging content, and who maybe needs to work on it. So I did see that. I did see that a lot. And that was pretty evident when I was doing the virtual reels. It's like, some of them hadn't done that at all. Like they were just stage, and it's a whole different thing. Just like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't look over here and walk over here and because that takes you out of your element. You got to stay in one spot. And
Yeah.
so it was tough for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so transferring that or translating that onto like a 90-second virtual reel was a bit of a challenge sometimes. And I did find myself using some sort of stock footage of an iPad with like a green screen on it, to like put their content on that virtually, to show, oh, hey, here's someone looking at an iPad and looking at this. Oh, that's what that experience is. That's when this was very new. Now it's like, well, no, I want them. I'm going to see them. I'm not going to. Why am I watching this? And so, but at the time, it was. I had to get creative to survive, and so did everybody.
Yeah.
So what happened to me, John? Same thing that happened to everybody else, and I had to pivot as well.
Well, one of the pieces around this, I earned this certified speaking professional this year, and on the stage, I'm pretty good, but we're competing against like giants in NSA who have been on stage. It feels like since they were born, right?
Mhm. Yep.
And I'm actually proud to get this year because the one thing I thought I was able to do, and I've been watching carefully, like monitoring over the last 2 3 years, is saying that I'm definitely one of the top in virtual, and it's different. It is different, just different enough, right? There are still some core things at the bottom that you can still do in person and virtual, and it is different enough that not everybody excelled in it. All right,
Hmm.
to excel at both is like another skill as opposed to just excelling in one or the other, in virtual
Yeah.
or in person. And
Yep.
so I really do believe that after that. I wasn't sure, but after watching over the last couple of years, I'm really convinced that the virtual can take another level. And I'm excited to see that. Speaking of which, Matt, what has to happen in a virtual meeting for you? You're an attendee, right? Actually an attendee in somebody
Okay.
else's virtual like meeting, conference, educational piece. What has to happen for Matt Bauer for it to be engaging, unique, awesome?
Great question. And by the way, I will be filming the CSP ceremony because I'm filming at I
Woo!
was the main stage videographer at NSA Thrive earlier this year. I'm so grateful to do that. And I'm the main stage videographer again at Influence this year. And as such, I will be filming that. So if you have a certain angle you want as a fellow videographer, you just let me know. And just for your, when you fly across the stage, you let me know what that direction should look like. So
Wait, now here I'll give you the insider, right? Only people who are going to listen to this interview will understand this. I think I'm going to do some version of the worm when I get to the seal of metal. So I'm sure I
perfect.
can. Can you see this behind the side? Like there's this audience shot which is like I turn and then do the worm sidewards, right? And the whole audience is there. Like something should I did like laugh or blow up,
Uh-huh.
slow motion. That shot, I think, like if we can conspire on that shot, that would make my whole
You
day.
got it. Yeah, I've already got it planned out. Perfect. To answer your question, what makes it engaging for me? Um, my brain is super fast. But it also it's like having a Ferrari brain in like an old beat up Volkswagen body. Like so like the steering's all messed up and the brakes work sometimes and whatever. And so the whole point of that is to say, um, if I can tell that you're reading something, no.
Yeah.
If I can tell like that you're just moving on to the next thing, same thing as, and I'm not saying not to use confidence monitors or that they're a bad thing if you're on stage. But if you look down for more than a second, like you're going to lose your audience. It's going to, what are they looking at? Like, okay, I know what they're looking at, but why aren't they prepared or why, to get that feeling. And so engagement is the thing. For me, like I would much prefer, I think, to because I don't know if how many folks have had a Zoom call with you. But John's using one of the features of Zoom where you can have a video play in your waiting room while people are joining, which I think is brilliant and awesome. And in that video, he's got, graphics flying around and it's very well presented. And so that I think, and this goes along with my editing as well, I rarely have something on screen in a sizzle reel that is more than 10 seconds just looking at one thing, looking at one person talking. I'm cutting to B-roll, I'm cutting to this, there's some sort of graphic or whatever like that. And not to say that we have become a nation of like super short attention spans, but I will just say TikTok, YouTube short, Instagram stories. Like these things are popular for a reason and they're pretty representative of like, yeah, swipe, 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 scroll, scroll, scroll. And so when you're like, it's one thing to be able to watch a YouTube video and choose what you want and for how long. When you're on an hour long presentation, like it should be as engaging and make me not want to go, you know, flip,
The next thing, right?
scroll and whatever.
Yeah.
Now that's hard to do, of course, because with the short form stuff, it's like that's what's expected nowadays. Is like, okay, I'm gonna learn something in a minute and a half, or I'm gonna be engaged, I'm gonna laugh in 60 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever it is. So I guess in a presentation, you just have to make a series of those versus like one long thing that made you smile or one long thing that it's like we're not going to wait till the one long thing. We're going to kind of check out. We're going to notice something in your background. We're going to put it, whatever it is, unless the visual changes up. Maybe there's something to follow with my eyes. Maybe there's a little, we're watching a 30-second clip of something because you're going to comment on it or something. Like to switch it up a little bit
Yeah.
every so often, I think is the best way to go. And to just vocal, I will say this, vocal tone and
Yeah.
inflection,
Yes.
huge.
People
it's
are forgetting that, right? There was a great report by one of our friends who was in the AI, and they record. Well, they don't record, but they monitor virtual calls, and they said that voice variation, high pitch, low pitch, faster,
Yep.
slower,
Yeah.
pause,
Hmm.
all of those things right now are top things that will engage your audience. They're top suggestions because most people aren't doing it.
Yeah, and it's one of those things too that, like music, is largely subconscious how it's received. Because I
Yeah,
mean, again, I'm a computer brain guy. Like, it's a literal data stream. Like,
yeah,
the
da da
words
da
that
da.
you're hearing, the
Yeah.
words that you're hearing, you're processing. Okay, cool. But the way that you're hearing those words is going to sway how you process those. If
Mhm.
you're picking up some sort of aggressive tone or whatever, you may be averse to that. If you're picking up some sort of like it's too quick, I didn't hear it. Like it's not received because of the way it was delivered. So the delivery of your content is just as important, if not more so, than the content itself.
Okay, what's the future of video? I'm going to change. Yeah, I want to hear what Matt's take of the future of video is. Like 10, 20 years down the line, what do you think's going to happen to video?
Well, there's video and then there's like video for speakers. And so AI has a big place in this conversation, of course.
Ooh,
Now you can literally type something and be like, show me this, and it will look pretty real, like somebody shot it. And
yep.
it's only going to get better. And that's cool for, stock footage, something to illustrate a point. But if you're a speaker, like you're on stage, like it's your face and your likeness and your voice that still needs to be in front of people. And we can't just have your voice. I mean, you can. There are some faceless, YouTube channels and things like that. But if you're a speaker and trying to get out there and trying to get booked, it's you that
This is
they
the
want.
moneymaker.
That's the moneymaker. That's right.
It's the moneymaker.
Uh, and so, like, you can the future of video is enhanced in that way where you can go, okay, this is mostly about this moneymaker, but I can illustrate it and emphasize certain things fairly easily by just like typing, a prompt or something like that. And
Yep.
that's cool because right now you can go to websites like Pond5 or like just wherever and get stock footage
Yep.
that somebody has shot, but we can just kind of create it now.
Yep.
But that purpose of that stock footage stays the same. It doesn't necessarily expand into covering the moneymaker. It's just a lot easier to find exactly what you want or to create exactly what you want if you're talking about a certain scenario in your keynote or something like that, to kind of illustrate it with more specificity than just browsing, Shutterstock or something like that.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
it, it basically, I'm looking at it in terms of my job security, and so
Right.
it,
Is AI ever going to take over the video editing portion? Right. Like right
um,
now, it's not there, but there is a time maybe.
it can. It depends. I would say it depends on your expectation. If the expectation, like right now, creating like Instagram Reels or something like that, where the components are as follows. It's vertical. It has subtitles
Yeah.
that are
Yeah.
animated
Yeah.
and kind of
Yeah.
attention getting. And it
Uh-huh.
may have some other like stock video sprinkled in or something like that to
Yep.
illustrate a point. But again, it's 30 to 45 seconds to a minute.
Yep.
That stuff right now, there are good tools that you can go, hey, here's a 5-minute thing. Use your best judgment to go, okay, to make it into a 30-second or a minute or whatever sort of thing. And it's hit or miss right now, but it's only going to get better. But some of them are also editable where you're like, oh, I want a different thing here and I want a different thing here. So it makes it easier or more accessible to do that. There's still effort and work involved. And like I said, it depends on what your expectation is at the end. If you're okay with like some jittery things here, or like it made the wrong call as far as including an extra word or something like that, if you're fine with that just to get content out there, it's fairly accessible now to anyone. Um, that
Yeah.
being said, I'm a little more particular, and I think just going back to my point earlier about how like a sizzle reel finishes. Like it's like, oh my gosh, I want to, but it's that whole experience that I make sure is absolutely seamless, even down to the frame. If I'm
Right.
cutting to, for example, if I'm cutting from like an interview to a stage or something like that, and the last frame of the interview, they're blinking. Well, people may not realize it, but literally, that's your last image of that person there is with their eyes closed. And like we don't like photos with our eyes closed. We always eyes open, smiles, and all that stuff. Like that's the last image you have, and people may not notice it, but it's not the most favorable versus like somebody like engaging like with their eyes open. That's the last frame that they see. So it's just little things like that that I make sure are
Mm,
smoothed out, that AI may not be able to see yet,
mm, yeah.
right? It's a
Yeah.
race. But it's just like that kind of stuff. It's a whole experience. Like if I'm editing a video, even if it's a minute long, and it's got the subtitles and it's got those things, it's going to be perfect and perfectly received, and not have anything that might subconsciously throw the person off, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Cool. Well, Jicky too asked the question: Do we have an audience? Do we have audience microphone set up for reaction sounds? And mine is an absolute yes. I think Matt is the same way. By the way, on Zoom, you want to do something and turn on original sound because by default it has the noise cancellation, which cancels out audience reaction.
Mhm.
So I turn this on all the time and on my virtuals and hybrids when I can. All right, we're going to do this cool new part of this interview. This is called the speed round, right? I'm going to ask you a question. You have to answer it as fast as possible. Are you ready, Matt?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Favorite band?
Yeah. What's that?
Favorite band?
Muse is my favorite band.
There we go. Favorite song?
Oh my gosh. The Dance by Garth Brooks.
Ooh, good one. Favorite performance? Your performance as a live musician?
Oh my gosh. I performed for about 2,000 Australians on a cruise ship one time, as a Michael Bublé tribute act. Uh,
No way!
yeah, I've got video of it if you're ever curious. But yes, and you can go to my YouTube. It's you just go to mattbauer.com as well as my other website, and you can get my YouTube there and see it. But yes, that was pretty sweet because they are very they like to have some fun.
Aussie, Aussie,
And
Aussie.
yeah, it's
Hey,
Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
you got to get one of those songs ready for like the closing night when Alan Berg and I are going to host a music night. Like we'll
Yes.
we'll do anything for you. Okay.
Love that.
I know you love all your speakers, but one speaker shout out. Any speaker. I know you love all
Oh
your.
my gosh. You and I both know and love her, Elena Levine.
Oh yeah, I just shot a video of her too. Oh, that's right. You said you're
Yeah.
editing. I can't wait to
Yeah,
see.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm just about done with her reel as well. Yeah, she's fantastic and she is a voice that needs to be heard.
Oh, I agree. I agree, and I do love working with her. I love her as a person too. The
Yeah.
speaker reel someone should watch.
Jessica Pettit.
Oh, that's. I worked with her on the MC guide. A standout interview you did with somebody.
Oh my gosh, this isn't gonna be so quick. And this I can't use this as oh, you're interviewing me. Okay, that's right. This has been one of the best times.
Oh,
I would say James Robillata. Uh,
oh, I like James.
Yeah, James
I
is
got,
great. That's oh man, he doesn't take himself too seriously, and it's just so much fun. To the point where it's like, can we get on task, please, and answer like some of these like questions for your
oh, he's
people?
like total the ADD. Like he can go off in any
It's
direction at any time.
it's
You know
he's
that.
just hilarious, and he's a big teddy bear,
Yeah,
and Tina,
yeah.
his wife, is just amazing, and then I think they have like what two children now that they're just kind of just juggling all these things, and they're both speakers, and I just love them. So,
Okay, last question. What makes you happy, Matt?
my daughter Holly makes me happy. She's 5.5, and she just lights up my world. She's just amazing. If you check out my Facebook or anything, like I rarely post, but she posts for me when she gets a hold of my phone sometimes. But so if you
That's
see some pictures
dangerous.
that are like, yeah, exactly, it is dangerous, but it's fine. But yeah, she just, yeah, she's my whole world.
Well, Matt, thank you so much for this interview. I hope all of our good friends in NSA and anyone else comes out, sees there. If you want to get some video, check out Matt Bauer. I put the link inside of there. Matt, thank you so much again for your time.
Yeah, of course, John. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. And I'll get that. I'll get you doing the worm on your CSP.
That footage will go in my reel this year, 100%. Thanks again, Matt.
Yeah, thank you, John.
All right, well, this is John Chen, who had just another engaging virtual meeting podcast. You got to watch this. Matt really just says, get the audience shot. It's not about you. It's about what you can do for your audience. If you want to do more for your audience here, make sure and subscribe, share, like, comment if you're here watching. Thank you, Jickie, again from Hawaii. You want any episode or all our episodes, go to engagingvirtualmeetings.online. New episode every Wednesday. And if you want to attend my conference, come to the Engaging Conference, October 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. 3 Hall of Fame speakers, all to show how you can be more engaging as a speaker, or if you're the organizer for a conference, just go to this link, get a ticket. And if you want to be like Matt, go to engagingvirtualmeetings.com/meet, select interview, and you could be the next person here on the Engaging Virtual Meetings podcast. We will see you next time.
Don't we start people and keep old people? Show you got heart.